a crazy scene. A fast way to make crazy cream. Full clip rubber grip with a laser beam. Cause on the block I got crazy fiends. So I gotta stash rocks in my ABGs. We handle beef like a Navy team. 2 shots will make your lady scream and call the cops up. Make her reach for her Jesus piece. You'll need a real good priest, like the KC Chiefs. The cops will have to bring out mops. A whole lot of chop, lots of Febreze. Cause I ain't really down with that scuffle shit. I put workout, smuggle, hustle, flip. Fuck around, you'll get left in a duffel zip. Wrinkled up in a bag like Ruffles chips. I got 100 strong on niggas ready to rock. Deep pockets.
Yeah, take that out too. I don't know.
Shit.
Get up the big one.
Bristol niggas. Freeborn records, niggas. DJ Wikked, niggas. My niggas on the block. Yeah, your dog is back and I ain't leaving, so.
Oh, you took off the music.
Yeah, unfortunately.
It's too much. Why? You don't want to hear that part? AKA Anarchy.
Best part? Alright, fuck you, man. Fuck you.
You don't like Aristo or something? Oh, no.
Who goes last?
Lost over in your rover like a crash dummy. Drunk us over by a soldier that'll snatch money. Snatch money, turn that shit into a record label. Or be in your crib like niggas that connect the cable.
Jeez.
And I've been doing invasions and now I'm the back end and showing proof I'm amazing. Let your neighborhood Spider-Man.
He was on the other side. So, okay, hold on.
Better rob a family, leave you inside a can. Looking like the beef or the ham that you find in spam. Nigga, all chicks ready, it's a rap.
What's Mayhem's group?
I'm out here.
No, the group.
Hustle Man.
Hustle Man, okay. C4. This C4, right? He's a part of Mayhem's group.
Y'all think I heard, but I don't know that.
It's a long time ago.
I know.
2004. Yeah. This is 04.
He missed all the classics.
Made in like late 03. I put this together late 03.
Oh my god! Oh, that's crazy.
Jordy, what the fuck is going on?
AKA Anarchy, AKA on the machine. He's such a capper. Shut up, buddy. Shut the fuck up. I can't stand these niggas. And you know, when you hold, and you hold, yo, yeah, yo, you already fuck coffee. So I clap shell softly, and y'all don't want to see the pump with the shoulder strap is guaranteed. Cut him. Cut that shit. Yeah, he's done.
Bingo! Sorry. Bingo, you wanted to ask him if he can do that again? Yeah, but we'll put together another 100 strong.
Oh my god, Bingo, just ask the question.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wikked, can that be possible?
I've been asked that 1,000 times, maybe more. And it's different times we live in. You know, during that time when I put that shit together, it was different. It wasn't as intense as it is now, or at least for the last minute. You know, back then, you had areas that were somewhat like certain people were cool with certain straight, like the top dogs. So it was cool for something like this to happen. You know what I'm saying? Because the politics was there. You know what I'm saying? And you know, obviously nowadays, I mean, I ain't got to say nothing. Everybody knows the politics just ain't there. It's just a lot of people just don't fuck with each other. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I would love to do some. I mean, I've always thought about it. You know, I've actually like spoke to like artists.
Ooh, I want Dave. Who would be your? I want to know.
What would you like to put together?
You know what? Maybe you don't have to give
Well, you know
certain
what?
names, but
I can't give certain names because
yeah.
they told me like, you know, unless like everybody's like for real, like I don't want to be like really part of this unless everybody's part of it. You know what I'm saying? So I kept that word. I kept my word with them because
But like, who would you envision like for another this year, 2020?
in this era, like right now,
Yeah, right now, who do you get?
man. I mean, obviously, you know, I'm an East End guy, so obviously, you know, French, Pengs, you know what I mean? Like Pegs, all those guys are my guys. I'm like, obviously, I like Northside. I like Smile. I like them all. Like everybody, it's different for me because I have like relationships with these people. You know what I'm saying? So it's somewhat. I'm a fan, but at the same time, I'm biased. You know what I mean? So it's like I'm gonna have my own personal vibe with each artist, and that's the reason why. Like, if I were to do this again, it would be people I fuck with, just like how it was back then, and it would have to be the right vibes. You know what I'm saying? Because one thing I don't ever want to do when it comes like this, shit like this, I don't want to force shit just to put shit out or for clout or just to be cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, it has to be authentic. And at the same time, like, it has to be real, first and foremost. It can't be no fugazi, it can't be no cap shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, it has to be real. And it has to be like everybody here really fucks with each other. We're not just doing this to say, okay, yo, we're gonna do this for, you know, for exactly, or to like just, you know, say we're all cool, but really they're not. You know what I'm saying? Because you know how it is. Artists can be cool, but the guys in their hood, in their camp, aren't really cool with other guys in their camp. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that's what, to be honest, that's really what the problem is. You know what I'm saying? It's not even the artist. I guarantee you I can get the artists together. Problem is, they're gonna have to listen to their man and be like, yo, why you doing the song with that guy? You get what I'm saying? And the behind the scenes shit is where it becomes a problem because there's just too much, I call it point of no return. There's too much bad blood. Like, this is not, it's not even an option. You know what I'm saying? Like, too much shit has happened, and it's like, you know, and I get it. And that's why I didn't really want to entertain it, because it's just like, man, like, for a long time, I was trying to get myself out of that. Like, I'm different. I'm a different DJ. I'm not like these other guys. I say that because I came up differently. You know what I'm saying? The music was really like the soundtrack to my life. It wasn't like, you know, a lot of these DJs where they're DJing because they want to be cool, they want to play in a club, they want to make some money. Like, I was already making money. It's just a coincidence that I could DJ. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, I was just trying to get out of that life, and it's like, doing a song like this again kind of brings me back, you know what I'm saying? Because I would have to go holler at certain people, and I would have to get, you know, the green light. I would have to get the cosign, and that's a different conversation. That's a different, you get what I'm saying? That's a whole different process as opposed to just doing a song. You know what I'm saying?
But as a, sorry to cut you, but as an OG in the game, right? As one of the top OG DJs in Toronto, don't you think that if you were to do something like that, or revisit a 100 Strong Arm, even drill it up or something, and maybe connect in some of the neighborhoods that don't really F with each other, don't you think that would be a stepping stone to like kind of quell the issues? And just because, you know, at some point motherfuckers need to just stop and just be like, you know what, this is actually, it's all right. I'll let this one
100%, and I agree, and I feel that way too. You know what I'm saying? Because at the same time, as much as I've been associated with certain neighborhoods and certain things, I have the love for the music. You know what I'm saying? And like, I'm also a fan of a lot of artists, past and present. You know, and so I would definitely like to, you know, bridge the gap and try to unite some of this shit and try to squash a lot of shit. In a perfect world, you know what? That would be the ideal, move. But reality is different.
It's bigger than that.
It's just, if you know certain things, you just know you got to leave that alone. You know what I mean? And it's sad because, like I said, but it's also for like a lot of situations, not even just like putting a song like something like this together, like doing another 100 Strong, but like even just with certain artists that like, they got charges and they can't go across to America, and they're really talented. You know what I'm saying? Like certain things in our situation in Toronto when it comes to artists, it's just a lot of shit that's just like unfortunate. You know what I'm saying? And that's why doing a song like this again, it kind of goes in that whole, there's just certain politics and just certain people that just can't happen. You know what I mean?
Basmati doing a Does That Radio. Question, so I guess we'd have to call it 200 Strong Part 2, but like you said something about people ask you so many times, like over 1,000 times, right? So I feel like people really want this, and have you ever thought about like maybe doing like an open challenge, like those Instagram, like open bar challenge, like whoever wants to jump on, you can jump and you can kind of select who. And
I mean, yeah, I think it's because, like I said, I have so much relationships with a lot of these artists, personal, business, relationships, and with me, I gotta go with the guys that are hot. You know what I'm saying? Like that's back then at that time, those dudes was the dudes. You know what I'm saying? And like, obviously, I couldn't tell the future what was gonna happen later on. Like for example with Homeboy, you know what I'm saying? The last guy on the show. I can't, but at the time, before, like I said, you can't tell the future what's gonna happen later, right? That was just a time in Toronto that, we was doing our thing out in the streets, and it was like more than music, man. And that's why it went together organically. You know what I'm saying? It was like, this wasn't like how it is nowadays where like, yo, I'm gonna send you the beat, go lace your verse, send it back. Nah, we was in the studio. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes two of those artists were in the studio at the same time. You know what I mean? But they all knew like, yo, yeah, I'm gonna pull up. I had everybody scheduled time. I banged that shit out in like 48 hours. You know what I mean? And the artist came in and laced it up. They didn't need no time. They banged it out. They heard the beat. They're like, yo, I'm on it. And I think it was C4. I can't remember. So long ago, man. That shit was in 04. End of 03 actually was when I put that shit together. But I can't remember which one it was. But they heard the beat. They wasn't even on the song, and they heard who was on the song, and they were like, "Yo, Wikked, really? You ain't gonna put me on this shit?" You know what I mean? But because his neighborhood, I knew had issues with somebody that was on the track in their neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? And so like I had to go have the conversation. So imagine that back then I had to have those hard conversations. Imagine now. It's like nearly impossible. You know what I'm saying? They don't give a fuck about no rap shit. These guys have real fucking beef. You know what I'm saying? Like these guys are really out here outside. Like they don't give a fuck about those rap songs.
So Wikked,
Sorry, really quick, because I think the music is not as important anymore. With those guys, the music is like they cared about it.
Well,
whereas these guys now, like if so and so heard a beat with a song with so and so on it,
yeah.
He's not gonna really care like that because he doesn't really care for the music. He more cares for the politics.
Yeah.
He wouldn't even care to get on it. He'd be like, all right, fuck that. You have another song.
Well, in Toronto, like I said, back then is different. I kind of compare it to like how the NBA was in the early years, where it was like it wasn't about the money, it wasn't about trying to be popular. It was just let me put in my work and earn my stripes. You know what I'm saying? And then the money will come later, right? But now guys already got money. Like a lot of these rappers, they already got money. Like so they're not trying to do it for money. I mean, obviously, they want more money, but they're good. It wasn't like back then, like, yo, motherfuckers were really on the block. You know what I mean? They was off, they had nothing. Like, they was scrounging, like, yo, they're hustling money just to go get studio time.
Exactly. It was like a key. It was a key out the door.
It was really organic shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Authentic. Like, it was really the love for the music. And now it's like, you know,
in it because they have money and
cloud,
free time.
you know what I mean? All kinds of shit they're in it for. Like, a lot of it's for the wrong reasons. And don't get me wrong, a lot of these guys are talented, right? But I think the internet, because back then, internet wasn't like how it is now.
It's a different time.
It's a different time we live in, right? So everybody's watching now. Back then, it was like only certain people knew what was really going on. Now I feel like everybody knows what's going on. And certain things are not supposed to be glamorized. Are not supposed to be out there like that, but it's out there like it's nothing. I'm like, man, like, I came up in a time when we never glorified certain things. Now it's just like, it's nothing. It's like a commercial on TV. It's like, yeah, we'll just put that on the internet and let everybody see that. I'm like, that's crazy. Yeah, like back in the day, man, like, I come from a different era. So like, we didn't talk about a lot of stuff. There's a lot of things that we don't talk about. Now it's crazy. It's like, and again too, like back then it was the beginning of like, in Toronto, because obviously in New York and America, they've been doing that, right? They had a head start, obviously, because they're the originators. But like in Toronto, that was like the first time they was like really, like giving the report on what was going on in the Toronto streets and what they was going through out here, because, you know, and not to disrespect those other dudes, but like I wasn't really with the Shaw Claires and all those other dudes. Like I was on the other side, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, a lot of times people would be like, yo, Wikked, you don't have Socrates and these guys in your crates. And I'm like, nah,
But why was that a choice? Sorry to cut you. Was that a choice?
It was just, you know what? It was like, it's like anybody that's, because like I said, I wasn't really like the typical DJ coming in where it was like, okay, let me just get all these songs and all these records because everybody else likes them. Back then, I really played shit that I liked and who I fucked with. You know, so I was playing a lot of Mobb Deep, you know what I'm saying? A lot of Wu-Tang. Like, in the clubs, they wasn't doing that, you know what I mean? They was playing, like, bubblegum shit, you know what I mean? Because that's how the clubs was, and I was just different. And so, like I said, I fucked with the artists that I knew and that I was fucking rocking with. And, you know, you attach yourself to what you relate to, you know what I'm saying? And you attach yourself, you find yourself, I guess, attaching yourself to people that you know that we're on the same lifestyle. You know what I mean? We're on the same wavelength. We're on the same mentality. We have the same peoples. You know what I mean? We have the same hustle. So when there's other guys doing something else and you can't relate to that, you kind of just like, you know, when I was playing records, I'm like, I can't relate to these guys, really. You know what I'm saying? And I always felt like there was another side of Toronto that back then that nobody was trying to tap into. I'm like, yo, these dudes are fucking real. These other dudes,
not so.
I got nothing to say. But these other dudes, nobody's trying to put these guys up on the forefront and expose these guys and let everybody know, like, yo, Toronto has another world. Because even back then, the same shit that's happening now was happening back then. It's just there's no internet. There's no, and everybody wasn't, you know, on fucking Instagram dissing each other. It was like, no, it was for real, like.
All right, hold that thought.
No.
Rit's intro.
No,
we forgot the intro.
I know, but because remember, this is going on.
Oh, my bad.
Before that, one last question, then let them.
All right, do your thing.
We spoke about the friggin' breaking record.
Yes, I heard that. And that's why I hit you up, to be honest.
So we felt, in our honest opinion, well, I don't know if Vegas feels that way. I feel like Toronto DJs can't break records.
They cannot right now, no.
Maybe
Nobody.
back in the day?
I agree, but I disagree. You mean only because I'm in a different position. So I can only speak on my own personal situation, right? I can't speak on everybody else, right? But, you know, just like a lot of other top DJs in other major cities, right? They have the influence because they play at the top parties. And I don't care what anybody says, breaking records, as much as like, you know, nowadays artists can just put that shit on the internet and everybody gets it. I get the same time, I get the record at the same time the regular general public gets it. You know what I'm saying? The difference though is when I get it, I put the impact in the record because I'm in the clubs all the time, 4 times a week, 5 times a week, 500 people, 1,000 people. You know what I'm talking about,
Stamp of
Ghost? Like,
approval, stamp of
so
approval.
exactly. So what I'm doing, the way I'm breaking the record, and it's always going to be like this, is that you can hear a record. You by yourself, you see it on the internet. Oh, so and so just dropped a record. You listen to it. You might play it in your car, maybe, right? It's a different vibe when you hear it in the club and everybody's turning the fuck up. And then the DJ's wheeling it back, sound effects, talking shit on the mic. You feel the record now. You know what I'm saying? And there's a lot of people in the club that never heard this record before. And then there's a lot of DJs too that like I said, the top DJs are the ones that are at the forefront of this shit. So that's the reason why I say the top DJs are still the ones that have to break these records. They will forever break these records because their influence is at the beginning stages for songs, whether it's a new artist, whether it's an established artist, if they're just dropping a new record, we're the ones that are bringing the impact. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so so you consider yourself top DJ, like the top on top of that.
I'm grateful. I'm very grateful.
Who else?
You the top DJ, yes or no?
Are you one of the top DJs in that hierarchy you're talking about?
Top shotter, definitely.
So who else is there, and are they breaking records the way how you say you are?
I really honestly can't say because I'm not at those parties. I'm busy doing my parties. But I will say this, you know what I mean? If there's only certain, because Toronto's small, right? We're not like Miami or New York where we got like so many hot parties. In Toronto, it's usually just 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Right? It's only like usually maybe even just one party was like, okay, that party weekly is popping, right? And 9 times out of 10, 10 times out of 10, it's me at that party. So if there's other parties that other DJs are at, and they're not the top parties, it's kind of irrelevant, even if they are breaking records, because, you know what I mean? Like, I'm doing parties, and like I said, I'm grateful for what I do. A lot of people pull out. You know what I mean? Like, I have relationships with, XO camps, OVO guys. So a lot of those guys, they'll pull up. The boy will pull up. My boy Cash will pull up, bring little baby to the club. You know what I'm saying? So it's a different vibe when I'm DJing. You know what I'm saying? You know how it is in Toronto. Everybody's groupied out. You know what I'm saying? So when the records are playing, they might not even like the song, but because they see Lil Baby turning up or they see, Nav turning up or they see, you know what I'm saying, at the club, they're like, oh shit, what record is this?
What's the last record you broke?
What's the last Toronto record you broke?
I just did it the other night. French gave me a record. They all pulled up. 3M, they all pulled up. Made a movie, 44. I'm there every Sunday night. And these guys told me they was pulling up, long weekend Sunday. And they gave me a record. And the crazy thing was there wasn't even a name for the song. They just like, yo, Wick, I'm sending you some. And normally, I always have to hear the record before I play the club. Because I don't know how this shit's gonna sound. You know what I'm saying? Like,
could be
I don't know
music.
what vibe it's on. You know what I mean? Like, so I always have to hear a record. But there's certain artists, when they send me something, when I'm already at the club and I'll have a chance to hear it, I trust it. Because they know what I'm about and they know what I'm gonna do with it. You know what I'm saying? So I trust them. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, this was Sunday, last Sunday, long weekend in the club. We must have wheeled it back maybe like 5-6 times. They sent me bottles, $1,000 bottles.
And you're gonna continue playing it every week now?
Of course. I mean, what I do is I'm the one that takes the risk.
I was just gonna say, yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So, for example, there's a lot of DJs that show up at the clubs that I DJ at. And so they'll be like, yo, what song is this? Because they trying to Shazam shit, it's not on there. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is this? So I'm the one that telling them, like, yo, this is blah, 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 blah. Yo, Wicked, can you please send me that? No problem. And so that's why I'm saying, like, the top DJs, this happens in every top city, right? Every major city, the top DJs will always have access to, the records. Not say access, because everybody has access to new shit now. But they're the ones taking the risks at these clubs and getting the reaction. Because I'm not gonna lie to you, there's a lot of times I broke records and the crowd didn't even fucking move, and they didn't like the song. You know what I'm saying? They wasn't fucking with it, or it was just so new they didn't know it. I'm playing bangers, and then all of a sudden I play some new shit, and like, yo, we went from like 20 songs that they all know the words, they know the hooks, they're singing
the
along,
flow up,
and then I played a song, a brand new song, because this is my part of my job. I gotta break these records, and this is what I'm talking about when I take the risks. A lot of DJs, they play it safe. They got the safety net. They play the records that everybody knows all night. I gotta take the risks. You know what I'm saying? Because the position that I'm in, if I don't do it, nobody's gonna really be doing it because no one's at these parties that I'm at. So it's gonna be different when I do it. You get what I'm saying? It's just a situation that obviously I'm grateful because I get the phone call, I get the booking, right? And they, I suck up all the money, so they don't book nobody else. I suck up the whole budget. I mean, Ghost, you know what it is, like.
I'm out there.
You know what I mean? Like,
I've seen
there,
two.
so
I
I'm
did
out
an
there.
Anko you once.
okay.
Last
Damn,
year.
that was a long time ago. Yeah. And Cole, what happened to that spot?
No, they're not there anymore. But
Yeah.
also, I'm with you on Sundays at 44. We're
Okay.
Dynasty. I'm in the middle of all that.
Okay. So you know what time it is, yeah. So, it's one of those things where it's like, I've been doing this since the beginning. You know what I mean? That's why when I heard you say, DJs don't break records, I'm like, yeah, maybe a lot of guys don't, but I never stop because that's part of my shit. It's embedded in me. Like, that's the reason why I've lasted this long, because I love new music. I love breaking new music. You get what I'm saying? It's different when like you're doing it because you're trying to be cool. No, I live this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is part of my show to break records. And I don't care if nobody fucking knows the song and everybody stands still. I'm taking the risk because I know maybe you know what, next week or tomorrow night, I'll mix it in differently. You know what I mean? Or I'll present the song differently. But this is a banger. They just don't know it yet. You know how many times I play a song, like my whole career is based off of, I played a song, 6 months later, everybody's fucking with it.
Give me an example of one of those records.
Fuck.
Off the top, right off the rip.
Off the top?
Right off the rip.
There was like, are we talking Toronto record or just any records?
Any record.
There was that Uzi record. The Uzi record. Money Longer. Remember that one?
Yeah.
So when I was playing that, nobody was really fucking with it like that. You know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden, I hear all the DJs, and then I see festivals. When that song came on in the festivals, the whole place was moving. You know what I mean? And I was just like, man, you know how long? And it's like, there's just so many records because, like, my mind is so jaded because I play so much that I have fucking 1,000 records in my head at all times because I'm thinking about music all the time, right? But it's literally hundreds of thousands of songs that I literally played, and either it was a month later, it busted, or 2 months later, or sometimes a year later. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times too, DJs, they would be beside me and they didn't really fuck with the record because when I broke the record, they saw the crowd not move. Right? But then when it went on radio and the video came out and then they see all the people, I'm like, yo, I've been working this record for 3 fucking months, playing it every fucking weekend. You know what I'm saying? Breaking the record. And then I saw the crowd now starting to, because now I'm, you know what I mean? I'm really like pushing it. I'm really pushing the record. And not really pushing it down their throats, but like I'm mixing it in my top set, in my prime time set. So it's like, yo, now you fucking with it. Now I see you really fucking with it. You know what I mean? And it's so crazy how like, when you're breaking records, sometimes, because obviously if it's a solidified, established artist, a lot of people are biased. They're gonna fuck with the new record that they've dropped anyways, right?
Yeah.
So, that makes my job easier, obviously, because if I'm dropping, like, for example, a new Lil Baby record or, you know what I mean, a new Money Bag record, like, a lot of people are gonna fuck with it anyways, you know what I'm saying? But what happens is, when it's a brand new artist, I gotta introduce a little bit different. You know what I'm saying?
The breaking the record issue, is that a city problem? Like in terms of like Toronto, the city, like when you try to break the record, like is it they're not like the crowd is not receptive, but then 6 months later they start to feel? Is that a city problem, or is it just that there's not enough people like you breaking the record for the people them to hear enough?
Everything you just said. Everything you just said is what it is. Because it is Toronto. So let me tell you something. Toronto, I get to DJ everywhere. You know, a lot of times in America, a lot of times other parts of the world. And I'll tell you right now, and I live here, Toronto is the hardest place to DJ. I go to Miami and I DJ out there, they turn the fuck up. I could be playing the oldest songs and they turning the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? I could be going to New York and playing like old 50 Cent and they turn the fuck up. I could never do that here. Over here, they want to hear new shit. I mean, obviously it depends on the parties, but majority of the parties I do is, you know, black urban parties. Yeah. They just want to hear new shit, trap shit, and reggae. So that's what I give them. You know what I'm saying?
Hold on, though. I won't cut you off, but this is why I like when you play the Young Jeezy set, because A, the new kids don't know about it, and B, like you need to have that set. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, for sure.
That's a big era still. But yeah, my bad. Go ahead, still. I know you play that shit. You always taking risks.
Yeah, Toronto is Screwface capital for real, forever. You know what I mean? Like they don't give a fuck. They really don't give a fuck. Like I could play the exact same set that just fucked up a club in New York or Miami or whatever, or LA. You know what I'm saying? I could play, and the club, it's a fucking movie. I do that same set in Toronto, they just standing there. Hot girls maybe will move a little bit, but the dudes, they're just rolling their blunts, just staring at the girls and just not even moving.
No, it's like, when they stay at UV, when they brought that Miami DJ, and he was spinning like, you know, like it was a Miami club. Yeah. And we're all just standing there and we're just like, damn, like, I don't know if we're vibing with this.
It's just different. I mean, and that's the thing, is that if you go consistently to all these other cities and see the party and the top clubs, I'm talking about the top clubs, right? You see how much the crowd just loves to party and they don't really care. I mean, obviously they care.
Complete different vibe.
But it's just a different vibe. Like they fucking with the DJs. You know what I'm saying? Because over there, the DJ culture and the club culture and the hip hop culture is totally different than what it is over here. Over here, we really pissed off. You know what I mean? And it's like fucked up. Shit. You know what I'm saying? So that's why, like, for me, to be able to do this as long as I have been, obviously I'm doing something right, because it's very hard to DJ in Toronto. It's not easy. You know what I mean? It's not easy. You can talk to a lot of DJs and don't get me wrong, like we have nights and there's certain parties obviously where everybody's having a great time. Like I just did long weekend and I think every party that I did like 5 parties in a row and everybody was vibing. You know what I'm saying? So don't get me wrong, but when I try to average shit out, you know what I'm saying? And you know, and it's really just like our urban crowd. Like, you know, when I do them white clubs and those white people parties, like they turning the fuck up. I'm playing Justin Bieber and they're going crazy, right? But it's like, you know, we too cool. We don't want to turn up. But then again, I go to Miami and it's different. You know what I mean? All the D-boys, they're turning up. You know what I mean? Even the Shatas, they're turning up. You know, it's just different.
Fun. They're actually there for
they're going to the club to have fun. I feel like in Toronto, a lot of guys are not really there to go and have fun. They just want to just pose up and stunt and go home. Roll up their blunts and go home.
Look cool.
You know what I mean? And it's like, man, there's so many hot girls in Toronto. I'll see hot girls literally right in front of a group of guys, and none of the guys will try to hit on these girls. And in America, it's different. They're all dancing with the girls. Turning them up. You know what I'm saying? And it's like everyone's just having a great time. You know, and you know, but it's also too, it's a different demographics, right? Because in America they're making more money, so everyone's spending money and everyone's fucking wasted too, right? Here, only certain pockets are spending money. Not everybody's spending money, you know?
All right, hold that thought. You guys intro now. Nightlife time.
No, I want to get my question. I want to get to my question. If you're doing a track right now, you know what I'm saying, of the same track you're doing years ago, you know what I'm saying, the part 2 to it, what 5 artists do you want on the track right now?
Oh, man.
Current. No. He said meetings. He said talking. I said what artist you want on the track?
We said something.
Well, I won't.
I mean, are we talking like top dogs? Okay, I'll just say this.
We'll do current.
Hypothetically, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I did have conversations, but hypothetically, like if we're talking like the top dogs, obviously we only have like maybe 3 or 4.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like the boy, obviously Tory can't, but like I would like him. Nat, like
Excluding.
Yeah, go more.
Street guys. Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, go more.
The street guys.
Yeah, give us 5 of the street guys.
That's one.
North side for sure. I like, obviously I'm biased with my guys. French, Pangs, and those guys.
You gotta pick one or the other. French or Pangs, fam. Pick one. You only can pick one.
I can only do French right now.
All right.
So French.
Hypothetical though. It's hypothetical.
I mean, that's like trying to pick between your kids which one you like more.
Not really.
You know what I mean?
Like, no. Let's be honest. Let's see. Like,
you know what I mean?
who's gonna carry
listen,
the song better? If it's 100 Strong Man Part 2, Strong Arm Part 2, who do you think would be on the track? Those are my guys too. So who? It's not. No. It's not that. It's who's gonna carry the record. He said Northside Benji
we
first.
all know Pangs has big records in the clubs that, you know what I mean, has been more receptive. You know what I'm saying? Like in the clubs, right? And I know this personally, right? And a lot of DJs know, and a lot of people know this personally, right? Like Brasilia, like you can't, there's certain songs that he dropped, you know what I mean, that even white people know. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So obviously him. Okay. I like Bushman too. I like him.
That's 3.
I like I like Smiley. I like, obviously like Presta's my guy. Like I just it would be more than 5. I would literally have to do more than 5. I'd have to do like 10.
Yeah, 200 strong.
There you go. And not even just that. Another reason too. Like, and I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be real. Another thing too. Another reason too is that I'll be putting myself in a hot seat because there's way more rappers now than it was back then. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna be leaving a lot of guys out that I have, relationships with. You know what I'm saying? That fuck with me. And like, I would just be having too much.
Okay, so drop.
I would be having too much.
Okay, so
people
it'd have to be more.
You know what I'm saying?
Put
Like,
2 names.
Wikked, what's up?
Put 2 more names in there so that you don't get rushed tomorrow.
7 is way. 7
2
is
more
way.
names in there.
7 is way too
Well, I
long.
told you,
5 is good, bro.
We don't want
5
to get
is
rushed. He
good.
might get rushed.
Nah, he's the OG. Dog.
He's
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
You got man from every block.
You gotta
Yeah.
make sure you say it. You gotta make sure you say it.
What's the guys in Orton Park again? The young boys.
Dope Boy Q. DQ.
Yeah, I like those
Dope Boy
guys.
Any Malta rappers?
Um,
How you can't look back?
oh man, I can't even think right now, but because I see how I go is I go by like neighborhoods.
Cover your
You know what I'm
tracks.
saying?
Cover your
And
tracks
that's-
Wicked still
there you
because
go. You know
these
what I
guys are
mean?
rolling
So,
out to the club next week. You know, so
five neighborhoods. I would definitely maybe 7, 8 from each neighborhood, and there's like 10, 30, 40 rappers in each neighborhood. So that's the reason why this is such a difficult situation because I'm leaving out.
It's not that
too
difficult.
many top.
It's not that difficult. Wicked.
No, listen, I know that
every hood has the name,
listen,
though.
If we're
Every
talking
hood has
about
the
trying to return on investment, it is not that difficult. We know
No,
who's hot
listen.
in each.
If anybody,
in each
listen, and a lot of people, and I appreciate this too, because a lot of people tell me like, if anybody can do it, you can do it because you really from out here, like you really out. I mean, obviously not anymore because I left that shit, but like, I was really outside like that. You know what I'm saying? And we don't really have too many. I don't know if we have any DJs aside from maybe certain reggae DJs that I know that was really outside like that or really connected like that. And
to be quite frank, there hasn't been any DJs from your era still doing it now. I would say maybe Ritz that I remember from back then when you're going in.
Yeah.
Ricochet, who doesn't really DJ now with Ill Kids. He's from Ill Kids, right? Ricochet.
Yes, yeah.
So it's like
What's the white boy's
he's
name?
he's a promoter now. I'm not a promoter. Sorry, broadcast. What were you say?
What's the white boy's name?
White boy
The DJ.
from where?
Fuck man, he used to play all the parties, man. The skinny white boy. What's his name?
Skinny white boy.
He does all the parties, man, on the old school jobs.
I don't know what you're talking about, man.
Scratch, yeah, Scratch.
Scratch is not really from that, fam. Like Scratch was always kind of like a mainstream DJ. Always kind of. A lie? Ricky, am I lying?
I mean, he's Russell Peters' DJ, so I mean that explains it.
Yeah,
right?
he was always like, he's not really like a Wikked or a Ritz from Project. Like he's from Project Bounce, dog. You're talking to a legend of Project Bounce right now.
This is throwback.
You know what I'm saying? People don't even know that
And
shit.
that was another
Crazy
life.
time.
Yeah, because
They
radio.
with the station.
I think in any city would never allow something like that.
No.
You know,
But it's actually happening
I
now.
was playing records that I would be playing in hood parties on the radio in Toronto, and you could just tap in on the radio station and listen to this shit. And you know, and that's one of the things too that gave me a lot of I got respect from a lot of guys because I didn't play like everybody else. You know, and I was able to really like play the songs that motherfuckers listen to in their whips. Personally, personal songs, not songs that were really on the radio or popular songs, like songs that only certain people know these songs.
Yeah.
Only certain people know these types of songs, you know, and that's why it was like, you know, like they say, what's understood doesn't have to be explained, you know, and, you know, just like they always say, man, real recognize real. You know, we ain't gotta say nothing. We just really know, like, yo, yeah, this motherfucker knows what time it is. We don't gotta talk about nothing else.
That's what's up.
You know, and a lot of times, like, when it came with the artists, you know, conversations wasn't always about music. You know, and that's the reason why, like, my come up in the music game was different, and a lot of people too. They was around and they're still around, and you know sometimes I'll see people that like are like legends in the city. You get what I'm saying? But like only certain people know these guys are legends. You know, because you know there's another world in Toronto that only certain people know this world, right? And so when I see these people in the clubs or if I see them on road, you know, and they say like, yo, you Wikked, you changed, like in a good way, because they're like, you got out that street and you made something but you're still keeping it 100. You didn't switch up, like you still playing that fucking trap shit, that D-boy shit in the clubs where these motherfuckers shouldn't even be playing. They have no business playing these records in these clubs, you know. But you out there playing it in your primetime sets, and you making sure that you know you look out for the guys that you know that nobody looked out for, you know. And people don't forget that, you know what I mean? And that's why, like, I can't speak on everybody else's situations because my situation is so different, you know. And you know, with this DJing shit, like, it was just literally like a coincidence that I could DJ, you know. But I love the music too, right? Just like any DJ, like you have to love the music, you know. But at the same time, like how you come up is definitely going to be what distinguishes you as a DJ, and like your personality and your background is going to mold you into the type of DJ you're going to be. You know what I'm saying?
That's what's
and what type of vibes you're going to give out.